Okay. Today we're going to start away to go to the text. Okay. So we know who is Dolpopa and who is exceptional, how he is exceptional. So if anybody their own wisdom to analyze anything, Buddha gave the chance for everybody, same as Dolpopa. However, if we don't have enough our own wisdom, then the only option, we believe somebody, we can trust somebody. That's the only solution in this world. So that's why we important to tell how is the Dolpopa, because we seeking for somebody trust, somebody knows the truth, so we can trust, even we don't have our intelligence. So that's why we learned a little bit Dolpopa last week. Now we just straight away gone to his letter, because he sent in letter also is not just ordinary person. He sent in emperor, so Chinese emperor, so it's very big. So it seems this letter, he doesn't discuss worldly concerns. It seems like he wants to explain that emperor knows what is a real dharma and what is the limitations, different tenets, different schools have the limitation. Seems like he mainly introduced that. Okay, so that is the essence. So now, Nama Shirkala Tsakchaya. So that means basically saying pay homage to the Kalachakra, the external universe, internal universe, and the enlightened universe. That's he said, meaning. Then he said, Tamchedim can be yehishko, nyimishko kan mavzatpa. So what it means is saying, he said, what is the omniscient means is primordial wisdom. Primordial wisdom is the only omniscient. And what is who is possess this omniscient mind is the dharmakaya. So dharmakaya have another name called primordial body, primordial mind body, something like that. Yeshishka. So that means in our level, in sentient beings level, the body and mind not the same, but in the omniscient level, the body and mind are same. No contradict. Okay, so I think showing that. Nimi kakang mavzatpa means, when we say nima means just sun. So if you just look literally and then say just, oh, sun-like body, never finish it, something like that. But the deeper meaning we're saying is, sun is, we rely on all sentient beings to survive. Without the sun, there is no life in this earth. Similarly, the Buddha nature is the only reason everybody can liberate it. Because we have the Buddha nature. We don't have to transform something. We don't have to find enlightenment somewhere else. Because our own truth is Buddha nature. So that's why I say. This is innumerable, like infinite. So our Buddha nature is infinite. So meaning like that, deeper meaning. Then Khwardan Pamar Gipipshan, Sangi Santer Juglandet. So if you look at just superficial meaning, then say, oh, the glorious Buddha. His eyes as incredible developed like lotus flower. And Buddha sitting on the lion throne. I pay homage. That kind of. Okay, literally. But the meaning, exact meaning, Vardhan means the ultimate glories. The Buddha is two qualities you have to think. One is Fangwan Tarshan, one is Dzokpan Tarshan. Dzokpan Tarshan. So the ultimate purity, the ultimate purification, so the ultimate purity, and the ultimate development, the absolute developed. So like lotus flower means like that. When is the lotus flower we look at, nobody think, oh, there's some imperfection. It's not developed. Nobody think like this. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, wow, like that. Similarly, so the Buddha is like lotus flower. Sangi Santar Jugulan, that means, so not just saying Buddha, he's sitting in the lion throne. That's just symbol. But when we making seats, our Vajra masters, we have to buy big thrones. We make big thrones, and we draw lions on the top. On those things, there is a reason. This is only symbol, but it is the reason. Because lion is the king of the jungle. And that you make a throne means more important than. Is something more important than lion. Is something more glorious than lion. Something more valuable, infinite values like that. And then he's saying, that's just his pay homage, his Buddha nature. And then he said, Ritak Ririkawapa. Stichik dalar nyambarter, or Dakaf Chanwi Galavanda, Magon Choji Sambertas. So he said, I will send here a song. He considers like song because he wrote as like a rhythm, same rhythm, everything same rhythm. So he said, I send you this letter and you must listen as like deers listen to music. Yeah, so I don't know all deers or some type of deers, but some type of deers, they really like music. So the hunters tricking them with music and then kill them. So that means, so meaning is, the simple meaning is, Dharma, when you listen to Dharma, you have to listen carefully and 100% without distracting. So he talking here only Dharma, nothing else. So he said, you listen like this way, please. So Ngawang Choji Sambrata means, Ngawang means, like Ngawang is like organ, you know, like the organs, the most important in our body, more important than some piece of muscle, some piece of skin, some piece of, you know, bone, anything. Organ is the survival on the body. Similarly, when we say Wang is like organ. So Wang means, so you are supposed to be the organ of the humanity, you know, the kin. So meaning like that. So you listen carefully. He said, no matter the silk, where it come from, which means that the silk come from some insects, right? Come from some insects, that kind of. So usually insects is something very inferior and we don't see much value. But then if you know very well how to use, and then becomes the silk. So similarly, he said, my talk, my writing or my song, this, whoever want to be liberated, for them is supreme Dharma. That's what he said. He didn't show humble to the king. He didn't. He didn't say no more Tibetan way. Oh, I'm the worst from among everybody. I don't know nothing, but everybody persists me, says something, so I have no choice to say to you. Usually Tibetans like this. So usually I call fake humility. But Dolpopa, he didn't do any fake humility, you know, here. So his talk is a supreme Dharma. if you want to liberate it. Tant and rovi matak okulam to majuktar. Television tarwa tongirvi lokpi lam to jugmansa. He said, anybody want to go above, they don't go down. Similarly, anybody want to liberate it, they have to go virtuous path, is not the non-virtuous path. That's he saying. Have to go the right path, what Buddha say, you know, right, eightfold paths, right path, right livelihood, you know. So similarly, right effort, everything. So similarly here, he's saying they have to go the virtuous path, not the wrong path. Paron rovi matak miktan kawa metab me devjin korvi parolan rondo satram tawa cheese. Say, if anybody want to go anywhere, you must have legs and eye. You must have eye and legs. Otherwise, how can you go? Okay. So similarly, anybody want to go beyond the samsara, he said, first, you have to have some ethics. Okay? First, you have view to understand ethics necessary. Morality is necessary. That's he said. So what that mean? I have to explain this little bit. So which means even gain a pursued human birth, you had in the past took some the morality. You must have some morality. You must follow some ethics. Zero ethic and zero morality have never have even human birth, okay? Pursued human birth, not just maybe killing human whole life, finish with killing. That kind of human is not pursued human birth. But the pursued human birth, not possible. We have that a lot of explanation we did in the past. So that's why he's saying, that's the one reason, you know, even you cannot get a pursued human birth, how can you liberate from samsara? Not possible. So that's why he said. The other reason also, you know, to liberate, we need tremendous wisdom to liberate for our samsara. But wisdom always have to come from stabilized mind. Stabilized mind cause is a virtuous path, you know, like virtuous path means remain in ethics. You're able to, you know, yourself is disciplined and diligent and able to follow ethics. So that's why I say. That's my explanation, okay? He didn't say go details. Then he said, Nam hi yolang koro amjong yehi roro am yangendis. So he said, where does samsara come from is conceptual activities. The whole samsara is the result of activities of the conception. It's not saying only you just sit there and conception working and body and speech didn't do nothing. It doesn't say that, but meaning as long as you are not free from conception, then is almost you are not free from the causes and condition of samsara. So that's why he said very, very clear. So that's why many scholars, oh, what is the root of samsara? Oh, is ignorance, which kind of ignorance, blah, 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 blah. People have many, many, many arguments. But Dolpopa said very clear. So, root of samsara is a concept. That's it. As long as you have concept, there is samsara. Okay, then you go beyond concept. What is that? That is the primordial mind. You live in a primordial mind, or you live in a primordial wisdom, whatever you say, primordial awareness, or whatever, that is just different translations. I think we need different translations, depend different subject and different contexts. So something's primordial and then kind of mind, wisdom, awareness, whatever say, that means enlightened. So these activities in, in the nirvana, or you can say in the nirvana, or you can say in the enlightenment and Buddhahood, only these activities, no conceptual activities. Yehirori nyangandi. Nyangandi means, nyangan means suffering. Free from suffering, you have to have this primordial mind. Devision charwam mustaqamjong. Yehirori nyangandi. Devision charwam mustaqamjong. Yantaqlam nasangila. So therefore, he said, all the mistakes and illusions come from because of the concept. As long as you are the concept, and then all illusions come. So all illusions inside many divisions, like all different religion, blah, 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 different philosophy, doesn't matter, whatever I say is all part of the illusion. Mustaq is a very independent. Mustaq means is a very big meaning, like is some kind of unstable, because the samsara is unstable and unpredictable because of impermanence. So what is the right path is, some people can translate this one, say, oh, the right path is Buddhist path. You can say that, but it's something more than this. Because if you just say, oh, the right path is Buddhist path, and then people can misunderstand, and other people say, oh, very biased. Oh, how can you say only Buddhist path is right and the others not right, like that? But actually, meaning is, it's not saying Buddhist. Meaning is really who understand really perfect nature we already have. Whoever we have confidence on our own nature, own truth, that is the really enlightened path. That's Dolpopa saying. Yang tak lam sargi nit. Yang tak lam sargi lak mertak pala yang nambah nis. So mertak pala is the opposite. Who don't believe you have a Buddha nature, you know? Or this have two categories. Terwatan rang getpa, so terwatan rang getpa. I'm not sure that what saying exactly, but the meaning is these words. I'm not sure what saying, but the meaning is two extremes. So we have to know who is the wrong view. If it's not free from two extremes, then it is the wrong view. You free from extremes, two extremes, then always right view. That means easy way to understand anything we experience, right, in this universe. We think this is the only truth. This is the real, nothing else. Then we are, then we are in one extreme. Okay. The other extreme is everything is empty, everything is essenceless. Then the other extreme. The simple ways like that. So we know then how many people are extreme. How many percentage in this world extreme. Okay? And then what is not extreme is simple way to explain. We have some confidence in our own Buddha nature, or at least some faith in our Buddha nature. And we a little bit understanding or this samsara is not really real. Appears us is real, but is not really real. How can you know? It's so easy to know. Because if you can analyze anything, what we think, what we say usually is not that case. If we not analyze it, seems like everything is pure real. So that's alone we know already. I mean, if you analyze, if you don't care and only just too busy and then the illusion and no even chance to think about, then of course you don't know. You are lost in the illusion. So, so then he said, one example, he said, so he just bring one example, you know, like the Hindu, so this everything Shiva created, you know, like that kind. Yeah. So that kind of Shiva, isn't it? Worship. Doesn't matter, whatever say, oh, somebody created everything. We didn't create. Even ourselves, somebody created, not ourselves. That is wrong view.
It is Shiva.
Okay. Tender Martok, Shirjan Miss. So then Dolpopa give what reason? Why Dolpopa? Why you say is if there's a creator you believe is wrong? How come? If we say that, if Dolpopa here, if we say that, then his answer say, there is no creator other than interdependent everything each other. That's he saying. Of course, he's talking about samsara, the universe, okay? He's not talking about the Buddha nature. Temder Matokhshirjan made this only interdependent horizon. There's no rare creator sit there and create everything. No such thing. This we already know. We already know everyday life or activities, whatever we have to do, whatever we have project with goals, so many conditions we need together. But at the same time, we are kind of ignorance and we just believe something else. Gunzub lirna tripar thar, chamjuk takhwaran wanchan, yinji zerwan dotpala, kenchigni gir dungal tak, nyoi ran wanchan dungals. So he contradicting them. He's saying he contradicting them. He said the relative phenomena exist. See, we experience every day. So that's he said. So who created that? He said, oh, okay, Shiva created. Or somebody else created. And this creator himself is need creator? No. This one himself is permanent. Permanent and free. Free from samsara. That they say, you know. Then he said, how come permanent create impermanence? How come even the life and death and suffering all have to experience? So we experience, he experienced, then how come? At least the creator we have to experience, you know, like what he's doing. Otherwise, like robot. So in that case, means is impermanence. Chözin. Okay. Yinji zerwan dopala kenji jani dungar tak nyon tang ran wan jan dengas. So experiencing and you are free from is a contradiction. You creating, but yourself is permanent, but you creating or impermanent. Everything you created is impermanent. That's also contradict. That's he saying. Then aham masti structure the game Chözin shinam torizer, digli taror topkerna, nandur dungar kani pshons. Then he said, and others saying, oh, if we sacrifice sentient beings, and then that is a virtuous action, you know. So this we are free from suffering. He said, if that case, he said, dikpa, digli tarwa topkirnas, if is non-virtues can liberate it, then then where the lower realms or this suffering, where come from? Now you have to say lower realms or suffering, also Shiva made it. Otherwise, you don't have reason, you know. He didn't go too much details, he just said one. And then I think some of the schools say, oh, everything have a life. The life as begins size as the, for instance, if the tree branches how tall, is their life is that tall. So basically they're saying their life is big as their body. Then he said, if you make pieces of the tree or branch, and that means is your life become many pieces. So he just made a contradictions. Okay. Some others, they're saying, on above of our universe, there is nirvana physically exist. I think there's somebody saying like a water umbrella or something like that. If that physical form, then is made from the small particles. If yes, then is cannot be permanent. Is a contradiction. That's he saying, because they believe that permanent nirvana, you know, they are physical but permanent nirvana. So that's he saying impossible. Contradicting. And then he's Gangi Chen Tong Mirnga Stensel Dig Dabranam, Takharandotpa, Semchenla, Medanchi Montomets. Or some people believe the Ganga River, Indian Ganga River, if you drink that, you purify your negativity. And then if you make 5 fires and make yourself suffering, hot, heat up around your body, 5 fires, that's also purify negative karma. So he said, if that case, and then all drink, he said, all sentient beings, everybody drink water. And also everybody needs some kind of heat. So that means everybody must be go nirvana. So this is, he said, only example, and that kind of many different wrong views. And there's 14 types and 20 types. There is 62 types. He said, you must don't follow those. He talking to the king. I think they have, China have many wrong religions too, but that's maybe Dolpopa didn't know. Or maybe he thinks maybe so easy to offend him. So first just tell all Indian wrong views first, And then maybe later, if you have chance, then you can enter the Chinese wrong views. Okay, anyway. And Mongolian wrong views. Of course, Tibetan wrong views always, you know, Dolpopa, he always talking and he even crying. So this is come later, don't worry. But I think he made exception for Chinese for a while. Now he jumped. Okay, now he said, who's supposed to follow the Buddha, Noah, have 4 tenets. Chapter matang dordema, Vibhashika and Svatantika, Naurik ngo nidmirmas. So Naurik means the Chitamata, Sosur namshir duparan cells. So he going to briefly address them how they are wrong. Okay? He not just saying, you know, like the other culture, the other religions wrong. He's saying even the supposed to Buddha's followers, they have huge limitations. That's he talking about. Chapter Mavi Hipshar the Chutan Kanzag Den dot pass. Vibhashikas, they believe, you know, the smallest particle permanent. Everything is impermanent. They Buddha follow Buddha, but they couldn't follow Buddha. The smallest particle must be permanent. They couldn't. So they believe that. Vibhashika. Chapter Hipshar Zi. Chutan Kanzak Den dot pass. Also the Vibhashikas, they couldn't 100% accept the selflessness. And selflessness person and selflessness phenomenon. Okay? So in their point of view, they believe in is not true. Self person and phenomenal. But if very high view, like Dolpopa looking down, they still seems like couldn't let go of the subtlety. That's he saying, okay? Dorgit not Garvarshet. So he said, this is very contradicting on Buddha's teachings. Dordi when Myandi Jim Driva Narmi Driva Marmi Narvastar, Shanna Chözin me Perdos. So according to Suratantrika, what is nirvana? If you ask Suratantrika, what is nirvana? They couldn't pinpoint. They couldn't pinpoint. But actually, I think it's not only this Satantika. I think even who's supposed claim Madhyamika, who claims free from eight extremes, or who claims Mahamudra or Dzokden, I think still sometimes maybe they couldn't pinpoint what is nirvana and what is the Buddha nature. So that we analyze later. But here he just saying only for Svatantika. Dordi bilmeyen oraya şenna çonzeme prondos. He said this is very similar of the Jainism. So Jainism must be like that. Now he talking about Chitamata, okay? Semtsam pine churnam kun stoa nam ki metortar chatpar tawa maron was. He said Chitamata believes all the phenomena is nothing, just like flower in the space. So flower in space, no possible. So they believe like that. He said this also the extremism of the nihilism. The king, emperor, a majesty, you must know that, he said. Then, if you are Madhyamika, Roma pin churnamkins, or donni ma churangian stones, yun min tarni namturwas. So if it's a Madhyamika, the middle path, and then all phenomena from the beginning, never created, inherently empty. So yunmin tarni namturwas. Chapter nam tarnitandos. So they all believe free from exist and free from non-exist. Therefore, free from all the possibilities. Chapter nam tarnitandos. Therefore, is a pure view. That's Madhyamika claims. But according to Dolpopa, of course, only Janton Madhyamika is 100% correct. That's why he said here. He didn't say the other Madhyamikas are wrong. He didn't say yet. He said, Kanzub demba rang kirton, tontum demba janton te, ton sertester mahi narger vikalar moines. No matter you claims you are a Madhyamika, a middle path, free from all extremes, but you must know how empty is, which means he said, Kanzub dembas, all the samsaric phenomena, or the relative phenomena, or the conventional phenomena, self-empty, empty itself, essenceless. Empty itself means essenceless. Tontam dembak jangistons. Okay, then what is the absolute truth? Because all Buddhists believe true truth. Nobody refute true truth, okay? So we have to argue a common ground. On the common ground, you have to argue. So So we said, okay, you and me, we both believe true truth, right? Yes. Okay, then say, true truth cannot be empty same way. That's why he said, the relative truth is self-empty. The absolute truth is empty of other. If you don't know this two different way of empty, then you are ignorance of the Buddha's teachings. That's what Dolpopa said. Because many others, they don't understand this and they think everything is self-empty, empty self. So that's why he said, if it's that case, then there's nothing, there is no need even argument. There's nothing exists anyway. What are we arguing for? Huh? But not that the case, he said. There is a base. There is a real base. You know, whatever we do, we have to do something on the base. We cannot do baseless claims, you know. So he said, if everything is self-empty, there is no base. But there is base, he said, there is base. What that means, beginningless of the time. You can say Kalachakra, beginningless of the time. Okay? This expanse means something is innumerable or something huge. This expanse, this expanse is the base of the all phenomenon. If you think even, that means it's Buddha nature basically, but even that you think is self-empty, then is no base. That's he saying. There is base, therefore there is sentient beings, and there is nirvana, can liberate, you can attain. There is liberation possible. There is sentient being, there is base of Buddha nature, therefore there is a sentient being, and there is possibility of attaining liberation, the nirvana. Nyangan dipa tobayins. Sem ne kanji nam hite, ran sim te ne nyomoyins. The normal mind are based on alaya. But alaya also needs you laya, you know, base, right? Sen kanji namhites. Mind means everything comes from alaya. But anything comes from alaya is afflictions. They come from and this alaya, and then you have ability to detect. Therefore, we call consciousness. But this alaya also has a base. That base is the ultimate base, Buddha nature. This also sometimes called same name. And people misunderstand this. And this not exist. Some schools, Buddhist schools, they don't believe that alaya. So he's saying that is wrong. Chapartawa nganbai yehi jinshen do patans. Especially some wrong views, they believe the yeshi, not normal mind, the primordial mind also can break. So this is a wrong view, huge wrong view. If the primordial, impossible to break. Okay? And some people believe this normal mind is absolute truth. That kind of wrong. And he said, even some people believe this conceptual mind is dharmakaya. That's even bigger wrong. He talking about this all, he talking about Tibetans wrong, okay? Tibetan high claim the high schools. He said they are all wrong. He make very clear, conceptual, samsara, primordial, and enlightenment. But here, everything mixed and confused. So this kind of people still saying something wrong. They say, the root tantras must be not Buddha teaching, because there's no beginning say, Indian language. Because usually we translated, the Tibetans are translated from India. They always say first, such and such Indian language, say something you don't know, like, and then they say, Tibetan, blah, blah, blah. So that means they at least to say something, the name of the text, first in Sanskrit, and then later on translate everything. So that means they're showing, this is authentic, come from India, But then some root texts, Kalachakra root texts, and a few other root texts didn't have that showing off from the beginning. So then some people think, this must be not authentic. So that's what he's talking about here. Really, so now he just correcting what people say things. And then we correcting what people do. Really, Dzokden wakchali jotur zelni sangindos. In the Tantra, there's two importance for liberation. One is in Tibetan called jodur, jor and dror. Jor means is like a union, or dror means destroy. In the Tantra, these two is very, very important. But he's saying many Tibetans, they think no more sexual activities, no more sexual unions. They think is this union, this supreme union important, and they do that. They believe in they're doing something very special. And then also many people, they think they are incredible and they kill something, you know, they try to make look like and eyes and everything. They take incredible, scary, and they think looks like angry, and they think they're really destroying demons and you know. But these demons you cannot destroy with anger, you know. Actually, you have to have meditation stabilization, you know. So that's why Dolpopa he corrected here. Vjodur zeni sargindot. Shachang kyunme fjot perfit. And then some people say, oh, alcohol is so important in the Tantra. Oh, meat is so important and so, you know. He's not saying nobody can't eat any meat in any circumstances. Nobody can drink in any case, in any circumstances. He's not saying like that. What he's saying is people make excuses with meat or alcohol or anything. You claim is something important. Is it important or not is dependent who you are, where you are, what kind of circumstances. Is not important for any time for anybody, you know. So he just making distinguish that. But usually people don't do that, you know. They have to forget about themselves. You know, they are qualified, what kind of qualification and what kind of circumstances, everything forget. I just say, oh, alcohol is so important. Yeah, those extremes, he said, he corrected all the extremes. Okay, yang tak tawa lokparam thong, tesok tawa ngan barnan, pakpin jiktin awamshik. So then Dolpopa said, how do you these kind of wrong views, wrong actions, wrong conduct? If ask Dolpopa, how do you know this is all wrong? He not saying, oh, I know myself. He's just saying, this is our Lokata Shora. He said very clearly, which means he talking about Puntrarika, the Shambhala Dharma kin of Puntrarika. Trimit Oxer, Trimit Oli he said it very clearly inside the stainless, what do you call it?
The ornament of stainless light.
Yes, ornament stainless light. In that one, he says this is all clear. So, a majesty, you must know that. Why? Because your majesty, if you know these things, then you don't let that wrong actions and wrong views in your kingdom, you know. So that is meaning like that. Okay. Now he said he called himself beggar. beggar monk. Beggar monk, my view is, he said, Chunyit tontam dembartis. The suchness is our absolute truth. Chamit controls harginess. This is have to be partless. Partless. Chamit control and pervasive and Buddha. Okay? According to Dolpopa, Buddha means Buddha nature. Is pervasive. This is pervasive for all the universe and all sentient beings. So when we say Buddha nature, you don't imagine something, you know, some kind of empty. He said, you must imagine a permanent Buddha body. If you do that, that is the correct view. How do you know Dolpopa? He said, because the best Buddha's son taught that. He talking about the material. Okay? Material, Manjushri, you know, these all Rigdans, Shambhala Rigdans. Television Shakpi, Nyaola, Dorji, Tau, Gurmiba, Tawa Pensum Tsuhuatang, Tawi Gyatso in Barshets. What this bodhisattvas say, all the best children of the Buddha, all these bodhisattvas, the best ones, they say, if you think the Buddha nature, the essence of us, is indestructible, if you say this and you think this and you say this and you believe that, is the completion of the correct view. Tawi Gyatso in Barshets, he said, this is like ocean-like view, which means very deep and vast. Tawi Gyatso in Barshet. Kunni fshektan jablaso, kunni fshantan jartan ro, kunni turdan jichtente, tamchetan kapar vjuks. Kunni means always, from ever, or the hands, leg, head, eyes, mouth, face, head, ear, everything what exists in this world, nothing's missing. Nothing's missing in Buddha nature. And pervasive. This, he said, this is the Buddha nature, the best of everything. This is, even you can say, 30 major marks, 80 minor marks, 10 powers, 4 fearlessness. Every Buddha Shakyamuni's qualities we're talking about, we can say every single thing in the Buddha nature too. This is primordially exist, okay? Primordially exist. So Buddha, Dolpopa's view is that. So the problem is that the others have a little bit hesitation. When we say, okay, there is a true truth, right? The samsara is a kind of illusion, yes? Then yes, everybody agree. I mean, or the Buddhist. There is ultimate truth, right? Yes, they already agree. But then what is the ultimate truth pinpoint? Then people confuse and say many crazy things. So Buddha, Buddha from Torpo, him, the Sheriff Johnson, he is always clear and nothing's unclear. He's the only person, 100% confidence. Anybody else looks like there's a little confusion. Even you are so good, a 99% so good, and there's something's a little bit hesitated. Mostly they hesitated. Do you know what? When we say, oh, body and mind, you know, a Buddha nature have everything, you know, or they have a body and, you know, and then major marks, minor mark, and then they say, oh, that's not possible. Then they try to debate, oh, that kind of inside you, how come like this, you know? Because they don't know how totally way of thinking different, you know? That means you try to dig in a concrete with a needle. You know, people have very little logics and little knowledge. They try to contradict Buddha nature. If you hold a small needle and then huge concrete, can you dig in? Not possible. You know, if you need dig the concrete and your back, how to say, big building, if you want to knocking down big building, you cannot do with a small hammer, you know. Same thing, anything you dig in a huge rock, you cannot use a needle. Forget about it. So, okay, Dolpopa. Yeah, Dolpopa always mentioned this because he said, if the view is wrong, then everything goes wrong. So that's why he is so kind and compassionate for everybody, entire his life. Every text, you can feel it. He's just crying inside for us to not understand the real meaning. So much wrong understanding, you know. But this is talking to the scholars, okay, scholars, not just for beginners, okay. But even beginners could be understand if they have some good merit from previous life, or at least get some sense. Okay, we have live here today, then next week maybe we could be finished, or I don't know, 2 weeks, 2 more weeks go, or 1 week couldn't finish. So seems like everybody less and less not listening anyway. So is there any question today?
you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A. Also check Facebook. We don't have any to start.
No, even no questions. Okay, that means I am understood everything. Yeah, I try to say in very ordinary way, you know, like the traditional way of teaching is very difficult. Do you know why? Because firstly, they don't explain. Secondly, they bring many, many other quotations. Yeah, so then you're going to confuse. I try to teach baby step way. But this subject is not baby, okay?
Okay, there's a question or two. There's also people who are saying that it's very clear today, Rinpoche. So if consciousness creates samsara, is it possible to be without consciousness?
Yes, of course. Of course. Possible. If not possible with our consciousness, then we enlightenment not exist. Because I think most of the people consciousness is the something profound, you know. So because they don't have other worlds, so people use consciousness is something very profound, deep, you know, enlightenment. They think like that. But in Buddhist consciousness means is not that profound. You know, of course, profound than physical. We know all conception or, you know, our concept do so many things. You know, the scientists, theory, everything. You know, the fictions and many. Our concept can do many, many, many things. In that way, yes, profound. But it's if you compare the primordial mind, there is nothing. You know, if primordial mind is like ocean, then our conception is 1 spoon of water. Our conception has some limitations. That means it's not saying you can't use the concept whatsoever. Of course, we have to use it every day, every moment. In the samsara. Even we are the virtuous path, we take in the virtuous path and even understand philosophically, or is a concept we use it. It's not saying you cannot use the concept anymore. You have to brain damage. Not saying that, but there is something more than concept. Concept has the concept and the samsara both have limitation, basically. Because illusion, of course, they have a limitation. You only are true in your level, only. You are only true your own level. That's why you are only temporarily truth, not the ultimate truth, not the absolute truth.
Okay, so was Dolpopa saying that it's never okay to eat meat and drink alcohol? Aren't these fundamental Buddhist precepts?
No. No, he's saying mainly you claims them is as, you know, like your path and your virtues path and important for spiritual. You claims that, you know, that is, he say wrong. Okay? That's also, he's not saying wrong for everybody, for any circumstances. He's not saying that, but often people do these things. That's why I say. Often people not qualified that, not qualified, you know, like not qualified that drinking too much, you know, eat meat, you know, you just oh, kill for that person, no problem. He's very holy, kill for him and offer meat, no problem. That kind of claims often have wrong. He's not saying 100% everybody wrong, but he's saying, many times people wrong claims. So everything there is a reason, there is a reason. When we say the alcohol is the one and the perceives, I think very important not take extreme, like, or anybody drink any alcohol for anybody is 100% wrong. If you take that way also is wrong, another. But if there is exceptional cases, something important, alcohol, but then people always, not that circumstance, they always just use it as excuses, then is wrong, The same thing, eat meat and everything. If there is exceptional circumstances, then is no problem. That is important, but you use always that exceptional circumstances for everything, that is the wrong.
Okay, Rinpoche, is there any other view which is deeper than the Jintong view on the ultimate reality?
Of course not. The only difference is you can experience, when you experience a non-conceptual level, then of course much more profound than what we talking and thinking. But in talking and thinking, you can't say better than this. Never.
Dear Rinpoche, during a talk about Other-Emptiness, my friend stated that Dolpopa's view is eternalist. Could you please explain how Other-Emptiness view beyond the extremes of permanence and nihilism?
Okay. I think it's very simple. To me, it's very simple. Okay. Because everybody distinguish happiness and suffering, right? Everybody distinguish virtues and non-virtues, a right path and a wrong path. And then the accomplishment and the failure, right? If this all, then you have to free from two extremes. So that means one is you cannot take everything as we perceive, because there is so much illusion we already know, even just limited our analysis or scientific analysis, so many things is already not the case what we think and what appear for us. You knowing that is you are free from externalism. But if you don't know this and nothing, and you just completely controlled by this, then you are not free from that. So, and then now we're talking about, like you are free from, you are not free from, you are extreme, you're not extreme. Who is you? Who is me? Is there any base? So Jonathan is saying, no base, everything is empty itself. Then why we even bother can talk and do and think, and why can't we bother even? But in Dolpopa point of view, true ourself is Buddha nature. So when we realize that, we are free from everything. But if it's everything self, even the Buddha nature is self-empty, then there is nobody can attend anything at all. There's nobody exists anyway. So it's basically baseless. I don't know. This is so simple to me. Very, very simple and very, very basic. But people still don't understand. I don't know why. So I don't know then how to explain, you know. Something if you say, this is a knife, this is an apple, they are different, is so simple because this, if you explain many, and then people don't understand, then what do you do? So I think anybody told you Dolpopa is externalism, then they must write article. Must write very big article and, you know, show all the scholars. If cannot do that, then that means not understanding. And then baseless claim. It doesn't mean if you write article, you approve that, but at least some people can test your understanding, you know. Okay.
Okay, if you're interested in more on that topic, Rinpoche spoke about that earlier in the year, so you can look for the videos titled Basic Emptiness. It's a series and it's on YouTube.
You can read it in Mountain Doctrine.
You can read it in the Mountain Doctrine, but you gave a very simple explanation in this video. So
yeah.
So the next question is Alaya the base? So Alaya is the base of consciousness, conceptual mind. Is this the same as Dharmata?
No. Dharmata, no. Dharmata Buddha nature. But this one in Kanji Namshi, we call Kanji Namshi, okay? Kanji, sometimes we call only Kanji. And then sometimes Buddha teachings call Kanji, in the Buddha nature also call Kanji. That's why people misunderstand it sometimes. But the Kanji Namshi and Kanji Yeshi, okay? Kanji Yeshi means Kanji means like the base. The base of the primordial mind or the base of the consciousness mind.
So Rinpoche, there's a few questions about the text. We just called it the letter.
The other easy way, ask this, I think this Rinpoche who believes self-empty, everything is self-empty, truth, both truth is self-empty, Buddha nature also self-empty. If you believe that, then you say, okay, then everything is self-empty, then who going to enlighten? What is the point to the accumulation, the two accumulations? What is the point to do these eons of accumulation? For what? There's no Buddhahood. There is no sentient being. Nothing. If it's everything's empty, self-empty. Is understand? Yeah, self-empty means just a simple way. You not exist, they not exist, Buddha not exist, nobody exists. Temporarily not exist, ultimately not exist. Then what are we bothering? You know. What we bothering? Why we bothering? It's simple, yeah? Isn't it simple? If we say yes, or the samsara not exist, or appears for us is not the same as appear, it is all illusion. But we are still suffering samsara because we didn't realize yet. Okay, then when we realize, then we are free from everything. That makes sense. Huh? But if you say, even ultimate truth, even Buddha nature is same as self-empty as samsara, then who's you? Who going to enlighten it? Nothing. So they can't be bothered. You just enjoy samsara, I think, better. As much as you can.
So Rinpoche, do you think very many people, and a very big percentage of Buddhists in today's world actually understand the Jintong view? How many people do you think actually can understand this view?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because it's very tricky, because it's so simple. To me, it's so simple. It's so basic and so simple. But the centuries argument, yes. So sometimes I think, in why they argument on centuries, I don't understand, you know. So I don't know. It's why I don't know, because it looks so simple and so basic, and then at the same time, many people are so confused. I don't know why. The only thing we can say, oh, karma, because of karma, because of merits. We maybe need my accumulation merits. Some purification, negativities.
And Rinpoche, there's a few questions just on what is the text, because we just called it the letter from Dolpopa to the Emperor of China. So people are wondering where the text comes from, or what the text is that you're explaining.
I think the text comes from in his story, Dolpopa's story. One of his disciples wrote his story, and in there. But maybe they're not translated yet.
Well, we don't have it I don't know if we have that. We just have this excerpt. So another person's wondering how the emperor reacted to the letter.
I don't know. Maybe he is like us. Maybe he didn't understand nothing. Or maybe he has some, but then impermanent calm, then I don't know. His personal life so busy, and he want to do something, but then too late, then I don't know. Yeah, he make huge effort to bring Dolpopa, but he refuses. So there must be not a big chance or big important. If yes, Dolpopa definitely goes. But maybe Dolpopa, he see through, there is no huge important, just write letters enough. Who knows? The worldly kings, we don't know how much they have spiritual dedication. But of course, ego always say, oh, I want the best Lama. But if you are not best practitioner, best Lama doesn't help you. Both is the good, then is yes.